Welcome. Welcome to the equinox. Finally, the energies of the year are shifting and changing. And what does that mean for us all here on planet Earth? I mean, obviously, it depends on which hemisphere you are in. But for us on the northern hemisphere, the light is returning. And with that light comes this urge to do, to create, to make things happen out in the world. We're moving out of this kind of introspective, internal realm where things are darker, things can be tougher when we're, in the northern hemisphere. It's darker practically, but we're also going through these more and sometimes intense signs from the winter solstice through here to the spring equinox. So obviously you have lived through the last year to know enough that the year that has been a crazy enough year, a year of darkness and destruction and ends. And in Pisces, at the final completion of that 12-month cycle of the zodiac, we have a bunch of endings. The amazing offering that end has for us as individuals is that new beginnings are possible. So I'm going to talk about, in this workshop, I'm going to talk about this movement from Pisces into Aries and the movement from the more feminine underbelly signs into the more extroverted in the world signs. I'm going to be talking about masculine and feminine energies. There's a big movement out there to reclaim the wounds that have been made through the years to the feminine and to the masculine. But in this workshop today, I'm going to talk about the astrological basis of what masculine and what feminine is. And so we can see in our own charts, our astrological charts, that we can work out where we may have imbalances ourselves and where we want to bring that harmony back into our own life. So in this new cycle of creation, in this new zodiacal flow, we are able to be really potent creators of the world and of the life that we want to create. So it is going to be meditative. There are going to be spaces for you to be able to receive seeds, intuitions, maybe kind of still from this Piscean energy of dreams and daydreams, receiving those kind of intuitive guidance or feelings that can help define what we want to create. What is the world that we as individuals in our relationships and in our society and in the world are we trying to make? Because if we know what we're trying to create, we very much can make it happen. If we are too much focused on what we don't want or unclear of what it is that we are trying to create, then we're unable to make it. It's so obvious and easy to understand that connection. We're going to, as well as meditation, we're going to use some movement to try and understand our own feminine and masculine, and where it is in our body, where it is in our mind, and how we can feel into the places this year that we want to bring harmony, we want to bring union. This idea of marriage is the higher realization of the masculine and feminine energies coming together in divine marriage, in union. And as a precursor, obviously, to these terms of masculinity and femininity, we're not talking about gender, although obviously biologically, animals have developed binary sexes in order to reproduce, and in that there is a representation of this higher aspect of father and mother, divine father, divine mother in our genders as well. But actually, the masculine and the feminine is beyond gender. It is to do with our individuality. So if you're watching this on the recording and you haven't got your birth chart, do go to astro.com or astro-charts.com, pop in your date of birth and your time, and you'll get back a chart with all of the planet placements, the sun, the rising, in the different signs and in the different houses. Now, I'm not going to break down every single aspect of it, but we will be talking about the signs and we will be talking about some of the planets. So if you have that as a reference, it can be really helpful for you to relate it to yourself. So to start with, let's think about where we are. We're on this boundary point between Pisces and Aries. Pisces is this watery, mutable water sign, which is all feeling. It's like the feelings of the universe. It's everything, and it contains the whole. It is very universal. It's the most universal of the signs. Aquarius is also universal, but Pisces is universal to the extent that it's sacrificing the individual completely, sacrificing one's manifested life, sacrificing whatever one has created before just to be. It is completely passive. It's not doing, it's just there. It's the essence of the spirit itself. And in this phase, I'm recording this in 2021, where we've had a bunch of planets in Pisces as well, which is magnifying this feeling of dreaminess, of undoing, of unraveling, and on its higher aspect of ending things. And I think all of us have parts in our life that we are wanting to draw a point of close. And some of us are facing it full. This is the end and this is my new beginning. And a lot of us know what we need to end, but aren't maybe necessarily taking it by the horns and ending whatever that end is, whether it's where you're living, a relationship, a way that you interact with a certain person, your vocation, your career. I'm sure you know the things that need to end. It doesn't have to mean you break a relationship, it doesn't have to mean you actually move house. But the way that you exist within your home may be changing. The way that you relate to certain individuals may be changing, and that's coming to a close, and that's ending. We're letting it go. We're sacrificing it. We're saying, okay, enough is enough. And there's no holding at all. It's a complete letting go. In this phase as well, particularly those of us who have a lot of Pisces in our chart or placements in the 12th house, it can be a place where we're really feeling the feeling of everything. It can almost feel too much. We can feel it through, and it can be processed through our dreams. So pay attention to those dreams that you're having recently, particularly the ones that repeat themselves, particularly the ones that feel a little bit more vivid than others. That dream realm is a place where we can access the more definitely the subconscious, but sometimes we can get to the unconscious. We can get to the stuff that we're not at all aware of, that something in us is guiding us to have a look at, to, whether it's a person to contact, whether it is a place to visit, whether it is, I don't know, a new food to try or a song to express. So this, in Pisces, we're trying to render ourselves to be a blank canvas. It's like, okay, I am the canvas, and we let the paint itself. And that paint may come in feelings, it may come in dreams, may come in bolts of lightning, intuitive knowingness. And that part is as the Piscean energy starts to move into the Aryan energy. And it's not like the Aquarius happens and we suddenly, boom, we're moved into Aries, we're in our cardinal fire sign, we're all go, we are impulsive, and we are straight on target. What happens in this interface between the two is that we're still trying to be that blank canvas. We're still trying to receive. We're not trying to go, because in that going, in that doing, in that busyness, in the talking, the action, we inhibit our ability to receive those pearls of wisdom, those intuitive guidances from our soul, from some people refer to our soul as our guide, or maybe you have guides. These kind of higher points of wisdom that are coming in, and sometimes it can come literally out of the blue. It's a conversation you have with someone, and that conversation, it speaks to you deeply, or something that you read in the paper, or you see something, you see a sign like 3 times or more, it's there. It's like this sign is presented to yourself over and over and over again. And if we're closed because we're already going and doing, we don't see the sign, we don't receive the intuition. So we are trying to keep that ability to be a medium, to receive that feeling without becoming the feeling, without it allowing it to overwhelm us, knowing who we are within that, but equally allowing it to be received and to become part of our doingness. And then as we move into Aries, that build up of the fire, and fire is representative of the mind. Aries, yes, is ruled on the personality side by Mars, and Mars is, passionate, it's action, it's the warrior, it's let's go and do this. And lots of us have had lots of lockdowns, right? There's all this pent up, oh my God, I just want to get going. In my life, my kids are bit by bit going back to school, but they're not all quite back. And it's like, oh, I want to go and I want to do. But we all need that little bit of patience in order to be able to use our mind clearly, and that's the Mercury aspect of Aries. So on our soul, the soul side of Aries is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is all to do with the mind, our ability to think and create thoughts, not just allow the thinking to take hold, the thinking that takes hold of the doing. We want to be conscious creators of our thought. We want to become the thinker, but fully aware of the thinker, to create and plant those seeds that we plant in Taurus, that we start to grow through the year and we harvest in September. So this is a really key phase of the year. And this is why I'm marking it here in this workshop. So let's talk about you and where you are at. If you look at the makeup of your birth chart, if you look at, let's take the big three, let's take your moon, let's take your rising, let's take your sun sign. Let's have a think about what type of signs they are. So in the zodiac, we can break up the signs into 6 masculine and 6 feminine. That's obviously 5 and 5. Just imagine I have an extra finger there. So the masculine archetypes are your Aries, your Gemini, your Leo, your Libra, your Sagittarius, and your Aquarius. Okay, so within those 6, we have 3 fire signs and we have 3 air signs. The masculine in astrology, or how we view what the masculine is all to do with the fire of doing an action, this impulse from mind into action, and in the thoughts and the thinking. So it's very head-centered, is this masculine aspect. And of course, it relates in many ways to the reflection, as above, so below. The as above is this kind of, I don't know, so many words for it, triggers all around. Divine Father, Spirit, Light, oneness, you know, the whole. And this is like, this is the impulse downwards, and the vertical axis of thoughts into action. Okay. And then the feminine archetypes, the feminine signs, are held within Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. And you have the earth signs and the water signs. So obviously this relates very much to our body, yeah, and all form. So it's maybe our physical body, but it's also the homes that we make, the buildings we create, art, anything that is got some form, a form to it. And then the water is all to do with emotions. So if we just have a think, so emotions and feelings. Yeah, I can broadly go into that as we break down signs. So if you look at your top 3, the moon, the sun, and the rising, you can have a look there to see what mix of the elements you have. So as a reminder, we have Aries is fire, Taurus is earth, Gemini is air, Cancer is water, Leo is fire again, Virgo is earth, Libra is air, Scorpio is water, Sagittarius is fire, Capricorn is earth, Aquarius is air, and Pisces is water. So you have your 12, and they go in the same order of the 4 signs all the way through. So let's think about the masculine signs for the moment. You have a kind of idea there, which you're, one step back. Just within those 3, you now have an idea of, firstly, your sun sign relates to kind of your personality. Your moon sign relates to what you're holding, your memories, your emotions, how your emotions are expressed or not. And then your rising sign is to do with your soul's emergence, it's your future, really, it's your purpose, okay? And some of you will have all of one sign, others you will have one of each, well, not quite each, but a different one of each, and all plethora of variations in between. So what we're going to look at now is each sign in turn. And as I'm going through the signs, I want you to pay particular attention to those ones that you have in your chart. Obviously, you can, if you know your chart well, you can look at the other planets as well. A good way to do it is to literally count the numbers of air signs, count the number of water, earth and fire, etc., to see what your mix here of elements is. And of course, then you can break down the masculine and the feminine through the air and fire and the water and the earth on the feminine side. So with those of you who have Aries in your chart, it's this fiery starting impulse charge. It's the doing, when it's imbalanced, it's at war, it's creating action, it's operating in anger, it's frustrated. The Mars gets frustrated here. It's challenged when things are slow. The Gemini, an air sign, relates very much to thinking, communication, learning and teaching, and actually just quickness, doing things quick, creating connections, but it's a fast masculine sign. On an emotional side, and an imbalance, and a big imbalance that can be there is like a mental pride, an intellectual pride. Sometimes Gemini is linked to kind of manipulation as well, mental manipulation, because this Gemini energy is quick. It's, smart and funny and quick-witted. I'm a Gemini, so I can say that. But yeah, mental pride, manipulation, right? The Leo is a fire sign. And this Leo sign is all about expressing, it's playing, it's acting, it's a leadership sign. It can be very self-centered. It, can want to be literally the king, the top of the hierarchy, the leader, the top dog, and everything is about me and mine, right? And then Libra is an air sign. It's a mediating energy. It's a balancing energy. It's looking at all sides, and it's striving to find a path through these different opposing polarities, and creating right relations, building relationships, diplomacy. It can, however, be linked to a little bit of inertia, and an unwillingness to actually, we're looking at too many sides. There's too much to consider here, and one can overlook one's own needs and look to others. Always evaluating all the options before any decision is kind of made. Air, a mental sign. And then onwards to Sagittarius, a fire sign. This is the envisaging sign, the visionary energy. Okay, so people with Sagittarius, goal setters, one-pointed focus. But this one-pointed focus can go, okay, one focus, next focus, that focus, and there's no sequential, line of goals and then seeking the next goal. That's kind of the sign is aiming to reach a place where, from a faddist kind of obsessive doingness, one can create goals, reach that goal successfully, create the next goal, achieve that goal, and move on sequentially to a greater vision. It's this visionary, future-looking, intuitive in its highest kind of realm, but as I said, emotionally sometimes can become obsessive about things. Then the final masculine sign is Aquarius. So this is the rational brain, it's scientific inquiry, it's group work, again, more future planning for the group. So Sagittarius, maybe the future for me or me and my relationship, and Aquarius takes it one step further, and it's for humanity. What is our future? What do we as the people want? It can be quite skeptical, you know. A strong Aquarius can lead to, you know, lack of faith, only able to accept something if science can prove it. So there we have the plethora of masculine archetypes. There is so much in each one, so I'm snapshotting them. And then with the feminine ones, we have Taurus, who is an earth sign, fixed earth sign, all to do with beauty, form building, habit reforging, desires, can be glamorous, you know, a love of design and, you know, good fabrics, fine food, delicious sex, you know, all the tastes. Yeah, this is what Taurus desires and loves. Taurus ruled by Venus. I'm pointing this out now for later. It's ruled by Venus on its personality side, that kind of love, the desires, the relationships, the enjoyment of the senses, but on its higher aspect ruled by Vulcan, which brings in this kind of reforging, it's real powerful transformation, you know. And then in Cancer, we have this water, with this cardinal water sign, which is all to do with the home. It's caring, it's creating security, nurturing, making people feel that they belong. All are welcome in the home of Cancer. You know, it's very much the supporter, cares about all that, all animals, all plants, the earth, other humans, and one's family. Family is incredibly important to the Cancer archetypes and where we see Cancer in our chart. It can also be a little bit sentimental, a little bit emotional, all of these things that relate to to an emotional feeling of a past memory. Okay. Virgo, we have this earth, mutable earth sign that wants to improve, it wants to make things better, and it wants to heal ultimately is its goal. It's the healer. It's it's an energy that wants to make things more perfect. Then through it's perfecting and improving, it's making things healthier, there's greater well-being, but it's through this kind of organization, you know, like if you want to lose weight, if you want to feel better in your body, you have to stick to some rules, right? You have to do some diet, you have to change some routines, you have to get a bit organized about how you want to change how you feel. And that's what Virgo brings. That's the aspect of the feminine that's represented in Virgo. But obviously with that improvement brings sometimes some perfectionism, right? The other thing that Virgo also brings is kind of the study of cycles. You know, this things have an order, like cyclical understanding of periods, of the moon, of anything that has a cycle, which is all of nature, right? Nature. And the use of herbs. Yeah, medicine woman. She's a healer. And then Scorpio, back in the water. This is the deep unconscious. This is all the stuff that below the waters creates all that happens in our lives. Scorpio is the warrior archetype. Deep emotions, intimacy, sexuality, sex itself, merging to, it's to very much do with the relationships as well, will bring up this unconscious to be seen. And if you look at the symbol of Scorpio, it's like 3 deep dives into the unconscious, and then it arrows up into the light. Psychology, transformation, alchemy, can be a little bit, can either do one of 2 things, can be a bit guarded, not let anyone into my deep lake unless I trust you. And when I let you in, you must be intimate. I demand that intimacy. I need that. I need all of you. I need to understand you to understand me. It's that level of depth that is represented in the Scorpio part of the feminine. And then in Capricorn, back to the earth, we have systems, structures, framework. It's like the skeleton. The skeletons, the bones upon everything else is created. In some ways, you can look at Capricorn in a couple of different ways. I like to think of it as the magician. It's the part of the feminine that uses ordered ritual in order to create manifestation. It's like, I do this, this, and this in this order within this framework, and creation is possible. It is the 10th sign. It is the point at which birth has happened. I know we say 9 months of gestation, but the child is born at 10 months, right? So it's this 10 months birth. It's the birth of creation. So it's like this big matriarchal mama that's bearing the world, the earth, has this depth of perseverance, and will scale the highest heights, face the greatest challenges, has this real stamina and strength, right? This perseverance. Yeah, it's pretty hard. I've written here hardcore. Yeah, it's a pretty hardcore sign, but can be quite strict. Can be a little bit tough on. Can slow things down a bit. Can be a bit tough. Your proper kind of school mistress is the kind of image that I'm seeing in my head here. And then the final feminine sign is Pisces. This is the passive, receiving. We've kind of talked about it. It's chaos, as well. It's like everything is going on in Pisces. So although it's passive, it's also completely caught up in all of this feelingness. It's mediumship, psychicness, the ability to, talk to spirit, receive messages from, the other planes, astral planes, water, emotions. What we talk about as emotions in old texts is referred to as astral, and the astral is like the sum total of all the emotions that have ever been experienced by all individuals that have ever existed on this earth. Yeah, sometimes a bit scary, a bit intense. I always kind of think of the astral realm, the emotional world, is a bit like the Game of Thrones. It's a bit like any pop song. It's filled with all this feeling, which is so full. and creates its own forms and shapes which can be interpreted psychically. So we have our 6 masculine, imagining my extra finger, and 6 feminine archetypes. I hope you noted those ones, that particularly in those 3. We're going to have a think about what are the opposites of each one of those 3. So, for example, my sun sign is Gemini, and opposite Gemini is Sagittarius. So I have a masculine sun sign with the opposition is also masculine. So it's not like the opposite of your one sign is a feminine. They're both on this parallel, this polarity of either a masculine or a feminine polarity, but it's an opposite in its elemental form. So my Gemini is air, but the opposite is Sagittarius, which is fire. So I'm going to talk through each of the polarities, and then I'm going to use an example to talk through how understanding what's the opposite is going to help you in balancing up some of the energy within you, whether it's repressed and latent, or whether it is almost overwhelming. So within the masculine archetypes, those 6, they get divided into 3 polarities. Okay, so you have your Aries and Libra, and this is your cardinal. This is what is forging into creation, and your cardinal force of this fire and this air of Aries and Libra, it is a polarity that is needed to bring anything into existence and give it identity. Okay, so if you have a lot of one of these sides, if you are very air and Arian, it's this opposite side of Libra where things get more balanced, where we don't just rush into things, where we create peace instead of war, where we're very diplomatic versus impulsive. Understanding where that energy wants to go, and we need to meet somewhere in the middle. We need to bring direct that energy that we have a lot of toward the opposite. Okay. So then we have Gemini. That's all of me. Gemini and Sagittarius is the polarity. We have the mentality, this busy, thinking, adaptable, curious, mental energy of Gemini, and its polar opposite is Sagittarius, this visionary, this one-pointed focus. So either we have a lot of we may have a lot of Gemini, may have a lot of Sagittarius, or we may have even amounts of each, which might make things a bit easier. But either way, we're trying to bring them into the center. So if we find ourselves becoming quite faddy, obsessional, we bring our energy more towards this thoughtfulness, this learning, understanding what it is we truly want to do with our life, put our visionary abilities towards. And equally, if we are overly thinking and busy in our head, we want to bring that busyness, those overthinking tendencies towards the fire of the Sagittarius, which enables us to pick a focus and go for it, just single-pointedly. And then the final, and that And that polarity is helping us evolve. Okay, so it's the axis of mentality. And if you think about it, it's our development of our mind, of learning new things, of taking ourselves to a new place, which evolves things, it changes things. We need that mutable energy. And then we have the fixed polarity of your Leo and your Aquarius. Okay, so if you have either of these, the Leo is the creative, the Aquarius is the science, Leo is kind of individual, Aquarius is the universalist. And the key, this polarity is establishing and maintaining through creating of individuals and creating of groups. But within the group, the individual does not lose his or herself to the group. They keep their gifts. And equally, the individual does not just serve his or her own needs. He works towards the middle to serve the whole, okay? But we need the two in order to establish and maintain things in the world. So these masculine archetypes, those three polarities of the 6 signs, masculine signs, have got their reflection in the feminine. So if the masculine is like the vertical axis, the feminine is like the horizontal axis. So we have then our polarities. If we start with the cardinal feminine signs, we have Cancer and Capricorn, and this is the axis of stability, because we're creating our home, we're creating our societies. So Cancer is about home, about belonging. It's comfortable, it's soft, it's nurturing. And our Capricorn is out there on the hard mountain tops, challenging itself in the uncomfortable. It's, it's fixed, it's hard, it's yeah. So if we have our Capricorn, we need to look towards our Cancer to bring a little bit of softness, a bit of compassion, look towards our emotional awareness. And equally, if we have a lot of our Cancer, we need to look towards how we can challenge ourselves to take ourselves out of our safe home and push ourselves into a new place that could be our own new home, where we belong even more than where once we thought we belonged, with all of our past and our moon stuff going on, our Cancer moon stuff. Cancer ruled by the moon. And then we have our mutable axis in the feminine, Virgo and Pisces, our axis of improvement. Obviously, we have Pisces chaos, Virgo order, yeah. And in this axis, we have a lot of the Virgo energy that wants to perfect, wants to get everything in order. Everything must be better. Everything must be folded perfectly, Marie Kondo in our drawers. Pisces is like, yeah, whatever. Not feeling it today. Super aware and sensitive. And we're trying to bring, again, the two toward each other, okay? So note yourself if you've got which ones you've got a lot of as I'm talking them through. And this is the mutable axis, so it is how we evolve. It makes the 4 cross, mutable cross with Gemini and Sagittarius, with the masculine vertical axis, and here we have the feminine cross, feminine horizontal side of this cross. And then finally, our fixed feminine signs are our Taurus and our Scorpio, and this is the axis of desire. Taurus is obviously the kind of conscious desires, the desires that shape, our relationship with money, possessions, comforts. And Scorpio, the more unconscious desires, which shape our life on the surface. We have in this fixed signs, in these two fixed signs, a place of bringing our awareness to meet each other, so that real depth in Scorpio comes towards the light. So the darkness of Scorpio, in some ways you could talk about it, comes to meet the light of Taurus. Taurus rules illumination. And equally, that light of Taurus doesn't shy away from the dark, doesn't shy away from those things that are unseen, are a little bit more psychological. And together, they bring about a way of establishing and maintaining. Without desire, without this emotional feeling of something, there would be nothing in the world. Unless we want something, it doesn't get created. So if you've made a little note of what elements and what archetypes, feminine or masculine, you have predominance, definitely with those first three, but maybe in the rest of the chart as well. You can start to see where there are positions on the same masculine or feminine polarity needs to meet. I'll put all these in the text of the video as well, so you can just have a reminder, and you can search the opposing sign. But then also you can look to the other axis, the masculine if it's feminine, or the feminine if it's masculine. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into that one step, but I want us to think about how in society right now sees those archetypes. Quickly speaking through all those ones of the masculine: the impulse to do, taking action, war, thinking, developing education, communication, networks, expressing, leadership, mediating, diplomacy, visioning, setting goals, being scientific inquiry, rational thought, future planning, versus beauty and form and habit reforging, glamour, money, home, sensitivity, family, belonging, nurturing, improving, perfecting, organizing, order, unconscious, deep emotions, intimacy, sex, transformation, alchemy, psychology, system structures, rigid frameworks, perseverance, persistence, self-sabotage, chaos, feeling, mediumship. So if we think about those masculine archetypes versus the feminine ones, a lot of what we see out in the world, yes, there's a lot of masculine aspects which are more favored, and I guess a lot of us strive, whether we're male or female, strive towards being more assertive, being more all of those ones I've just listed. But equally, the feminine is so essential in everything that we've built, everything that we've created in the world. It is there all along, and and some certain aspects have definitely been vilified, suppressed. Studies of nature, use of herbs, psychology, emotional awareness, the study of why emotionally we're doing it, that caring, nurturing aspect, care for the earth, care for our families. All of those things may not necessarily be have been in the past supported by support, definitely not supported by money, but often, witches burnt at stakes. All of these things have been in our past. The point that I really want to get across here is that all of these energies are all in every individual. It's the birth chart that really, the astrological imprint of who you are that makes you unique, gives you this this balance of feminine and masculine within you. It shows you where you have if you have a load of one element, there is a learning in this lifetime to bring in both the opposition. So if it's fire, if you've brought in a lot of fire in this incarnation, it needs to find its air in its opposition sign. It needs to move towards it on that polarity to the middle. And then it also needs to find its opposition to make this cross, to be that gift that you have, which is, and all of us have one of those three, or all of them, or two, obviously. We're either kind of creators and forgers, that cardinal energy, or we are fixers and maintainers and stabilizers of systems, structures, organizations, things that are there, or we are mutable in our effect, and we create evolution, and we create change, and we bring about that through our masculine and our feminine. And obviously, any imbalance that we have, any wound that we have in any of those places, that may have been shaped through again, another deep symbolic reflection of our relationship with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, is our relationship with our parents that has shaped our childhood, whether they were there or not, and the relationship that we had along the way with them, or the people that have raised us, and how they have shown us either to be a woman or to be a man or to be an individual, and what we've had to overcome to be who we are, free from what we have learned from other people's perception of masculinity, femininity, which ultimately is actually only reflected through the planets of Mars and Venus. So we all know this book, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Well, we are made up of, everyone has a Venus is in one of your signs. Mars is in one of your signs. And yes, Mars is a masculine planet and Venus is a feminine planet. And if you have Mars in your Aries, it's going to make you more warlike. It's going to bring up that impulse to change, to create. It's that cardinal energy that needs its Libra counterpart to bring about something new, initiating and making an identity out of something into the world. And yes, if you have Venus in Taurus, you may love and appreciate the beauty of everything. You may love to wear pretty clothes and be bathed in pastel shades and enjoy fluffy kittens and love romantic dinners and massage and all the other feminine things that would be the traditional archetype of what it is to be masculine and what it is to be feminine. But ultimately, we are all unique. We all have within us such a mix of all this masculine and feminine archetypes, and everyone's going to have a different one. I think that's my theory of why there are so many people on this planet right now. Everyone is so unique, unique soul, unique personality, unique balance of all these four elements, and the life that permeates through all of them. So you could, yes, you could further analyze your birth chart and have a look, you know, are your feminine planets of the moon, of Venus, of Neptune, of Pluto in feminine houses, or are they in masculine houses? Are your masculine planets of the Sun, of Mars, of Jupiter and Saturn in masculine houses or in feminine? You know, for me personally, I have an awful lot of masculine, but it's not in the it's not in the masculine energy to go and eat meat and pump weights and I don't know, get in fights by the chippy in the evening. Sorry, complete stereotype. I have a lot of air. I have a lot of air in Gemini, but I have the most fire in Sagittarius. And so far, my life learning is to have a relationship with this fire. So although I have in my birth chart a lot of fire, up until fairly recently, I didn't feel this fire. I only felt the air. In fact, I was very skinny, you know, and air in the Ayurvedic terms, you know, this Vatic, it gets very dry, you know, nervous system issues like joint issues, dryness, the whole shebang. And it was all because my sun sign of Gemini was all consuming all of who I thought I was, you know, thinking, learning, using my mind, not in my body at all. You know, my masculine energy of this thinking, and now this doing, this Sagittarian energy is coming through as I get older, but it must be married up with the feminine polarity of Virgo and Pisces. And in that, I will be able to take hold of my ability to create evolution, to bring change about in the world, in whatever sector that is, that I feel my soul urge is to work in. So if you want me to have a look at your chart, do email me and I can have a look at what's going on in your chart and the balance of energy. Obviously, a conversation sometimes helps to understand whether one part of your birth chart has got blocked, you know. And for me, it was my fire. I was fearful of my fire, fearful of the power. And equally, the so this power, this fire activates, yeah. Got that, got the air. It's like Captain Planet, yeah. You got your fire, you got your air, then you need your water, you need your emotions to be able to feel deep, right? And then you lock in your earth, yeah. And then what happens in Captain Planet, you know, and then Captain Planet's created, you know, it's consciousness, yeah, the symbolic psychedelic nature of like those 80s cartoons, right? So you need the four elements, you need all of that, you need the two sides of each sign together to operate from the center of the cross. And from that center place, you can pick what you need from any time. Okay, I need to feel into this. I need my emotions, or I need to understand something. I bring in my mental aspect. I need to do something. Let's bring in the fire. I need to create something physically. That's beautiful. Let's make it happen. This is the skills that I have. And there will be some parts, with all those 12 signs that I've talked about, that you can strive to do them, but it may never, it's not your innate strength. And sometimes when we have these areas of weakness, and you can have a look at your birth chart and you can see if your chart is spread out, if you have a load of trines, loads of, groups of elements, then you have a bit more balance. You have a generalist approach. If you have just a few clusters, then there's a more specialist energy about you, and you need other people to work with. And what you bring to the earth is essential to find those relationships. And if you look at your most intimate relationships and you go, can I just sort of check your birth chart? You can see sometimes that basically the person that you're in intimate relationships with, or that you're working with in partnership, whether it's in a business or in marriage, you can see that they should complement each other. They should have missing things from each other's charts in a way. If you don't have much earth, then you need someone who's earth. If you don't have much of the cardinal energy and you're working in a team, you need someone who's going to forge and create new identities. And you need people who are going to bring about the stabilizing energy, that desire, fix it and lock it in, creativity. The new thing is established and maintained. And I think lots of different theories have put that in different ways. So this is just my interpretation through astrology. So now I've probably lost you. We are going to come to meditation and just reflect upon where we are as individuals right now. So find yourself a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or kneeling, or sat on a chair with 2 feet on the floor, and sit your spine up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders. Take a big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Palms turn down towards those knees. Just come to watch your breath coming in through your nose and out. Lengthening up through the crown of your head and grounding back down. Keeping that breath going. Letting go of the past. Letting go of the last chapter with that exhale. And inhaling. Finding yourself in this moment. Rubbing your hands, placing your left hand and your right hand onto your heart.
feeling your heart and recognizing yourself in this moment right now, and finding a moment of gratitude for your body, for your emotions, for your capacity to think, and your capacity to do. And bringing to mind your sun sign. We all should probably be aware of what our sun sign is. And if it's fire, feel the fire. If it's air, feel the air. And if it's water, water, and earth, earth. Allow the earth to ground you, the water to enable you to feel, the air to think, and the fire to do, forge forwards. And if it's a masculine fire or air, feel it coming up and out. And if it's a feminine, feel it coming down and in. And if it's fire, finding your air. If it's air, finding your fire. If it's earth, finding your water. And if it's water, finding your earth. And then going to whatever is on the opposite, if it's feminine polarity, finding your masculine, and if it's a masculine polarity, finding your feminine. Masculine lifting up and out, feminine drawing in and down. Releasing your hands to your knees and turning your gaze inwards and upwards. Trying to access the fifth element of ether. As we look up to that third eye, as we open up to the crown. Recognizing that we have all of the elements within us. in our unique makeup. And asking our intuition what we need to bring a little bit more balance in our life through the next cycle of our living. And in this place, just allowing yourself to receive, to intuit, to both be that watery receptacle and have access to the fiery impulse of mind. And then gently bringing your hands down to your knees, trying to keep these movements as meditative as possible. We're going to take circles in a seated position. Just taking your spine for a dance, seeing if you can bring air into your chest as you come forwards, and exhale, squeeze it all out, changing directions. Let's start with our feminine energy of our physical body. Getting back in tune with our physical, with our natural cycles, with what nourishment our body wants. Releasing, changing the crossings of the legs the other way, and rounding, deep cat stretch, draw the belly in. Inhale, chest through. Exhale, rounding. If we're listening to our body's needs, if we're responsive to our body's cyclical nature, it's impossible to be efficient all the time. It's impossible. Even clear thinking, rational thought, rejecting our emotions, which are so intrinsically linked to how our physical body is feeling. Taking a side stretch over to one side. Big inhale, exhale over to the other side. How does your body feel? Does it need more movement? Does it need more stretching? Starting with those earth signs. Are you taking care of this body? Are you enjoying this body? Are you allowing it to experience the tastes and enjoyments that life have to offer? Taking circles with one arm as you lean into the other. Are you allowing this body to enjoy its experience living in the other direction with that same arm? And then over to the other side, sweeping that arm one way. Do you listen to how your body wants to bring in more light, more love into your world. Releasing your block or cushion if you're using one and coming on to all fours. We're going to take our hips for circles, moving the body weight over the hands, which is shoulder width apart. And as you take those hips round in circles, see where your body wants to move. Taurus relates to habits, what habits need to change. What habits need to be reforged that would allow your physical health and emotional well-being to be improved. Taking figures of eights around the hips, around the hands. Do we allow ourselves to listen to our wants, or do we reject our desires? And coming to stationary tabletop, bring the right foot underneath the right hip and sink back into a hip opening here. Remembering the opposite to Taurus is a Scorpio. And Scorpio craves intimacy, not just superficial romance, not just the nice fluffy stuff. But when we bring the two together, we find this intimacy allows our enjoyment of life to be deeper. We become less ruled by the unconscious, and we become conscious illuminators of the form. We bring beauty into the world because it is what we desire. It's what brings us pleasure and enjoyment. And leaning into your hands, extend that same leg back behind you. And then take big circles with that knee. Feeling into the hips. Extend that leg out behind you. Round it, knee to nose. Knee to nose. This polarity is uniting our heart with our core. Taurus within the heart. And Scorpio, that flame in our core, to be a warrior, to go to battle with ourselves, to alchemize those parts of ourselves into pure gold. Changing sides, left foot where the left knee was, and sit back. Inhale forwards, exhale back. So these signs are going to be important to you if you have a lot of any of the fixed signs. Back and forth. So that's your Aquarius, that's your Leo. One more. Extending that left leg back behind you, taking big circles with the left knee into the left hip. And that foot and the leg extends back, knee to nose, extending, rounding. Use your breath. Feel into the body. One more. And then rounding in our cats or drawing the belly in. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Opening your knees and sitting back into child. Make yourself feel at home as we remind ourselves of Cancer, the crab, the shell that protects. And as you let the forehead be on the ground and make a pillow for the head, are you nurturing yourself? Are you able to nurture others? Are you able to allow others to be nurturing? This imbalance of the suppression of the feminine isn't just in the females, it's in our ability as a humanity to allow all people to be sensitive, to be caring, to show their emotions. It's not the case that Mars energy is for the man, that anger and only women can be caring. It's for all individuals, and we as society should be supporting all to be their uniqueness. Stretching those arms out a little more, we're going to walk the hands over to the right hand side and stretch down the left side of your body. Head drops down and just taking 5 long breaths here. Are you caring for your own emotions? Are you over caring for others? Are you limiting your own growth by getting stuck in old family patterns? These are Cancer traits. The old subconscious of the family, familiar ways that we create our sense of belonging. Walking over to the left-hand side. Breathing to the right side of the body. Letting the head come in between those arms, taking some big breaths. Are we being too soft? Do we need a bit of the Capricorn? Bring the knees under the hips, hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and make yourself into your down dog, like your mountain, your Capricorn. We're going to bring some of our soft Cancer energy with us as we pump those heels. Twisting right, twisting left. Spread those fingers. And then opening the palms, spreading those fingers. Just breathing in this down dog. 5 long breaths. Draw the shoulders back. Do you need to be pushing your boundaries? Do you need to be moving towards that archetype of the magician? Do you need to start setting some firm rituals, some structures of habits and deeper structures that you can live your life by that will create the outcome that you want this year? Now, just to activate some Capricorn, keep holding here for 5 more breaths. The cardinal signs. In the feminine, need the masculine of Aries and Libra. The impulse to do, the diplomacy, and drop your knees to the ground. Keep your hips above your knees and walk your hands up into a puppy stretch. Breathing into that heart. And then walking the hands back underneath, rounding and dropping your belly. Sitting onto your heels if your knees allow, or cross-legged if not. Opening the arms, lifting the chest. Wiggle through the fingers, rotate the wrist. Exhale, rounding. Draw the chin to chest. Inhale. How's the throat? How's the chest? Are you able to communicate fully? We consider feminine polarity of Virgo and Pisces. That polarity between chaos and order. Where do you lie on that line? Bring the hands to the base of the back as you lift up, lift the hips above the knees, lift the chest, open the heart, keep lifting up. And exhale down into child, 3 breaths. Healing through organizing and purifying. And then inhaling up, exhaling, diving down. Inhale, exhale, diving down. 3, 2, and 1. Back into your child. Is this year for you about allowing that feminine side of you to rise up in any of those 6 aspects? Taking a big inhale and exhale. Coming up into tabletop. Rounding and dropping your belly, lifting your chest. Listening to your physical body. Or do you need to take some charge, stepping the right foot forwards, a low lunge, reach the arms up. Owning your anger, owning the frustrations and charge that's calling you to create action or create change. The Aries aspect of the masculine, not only available for people with penises, right? Exhale, hands down, step that knee back down, round. Balanced up by the energy of Libra. never going into war without our diplomatic team. Yeah? Stepping the left foot forwards, inhaling. If we want to bring a new impulse into life, if we want to work on the masculine side of that, we are bringing this Aries and the Libra, right? Bringing the seeds, the fire, with the diplomacy, with right relations. Exhaling, hands down, knee back, rounding, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, rounding, and dropping the belly. Tucking the toes, downward dog. Are we trying to bring in some Leo, stepping the right foot forwards, left foot 45 degrees. We want to be the new king of our kingdom, queen of our queendom. So reaching those arms up, making your expression, new expression seen in the world, and establish that. Leo is the sign of individualization. What are you individualizing? What are you creating? Exhale, hands down, step back. Balance up with the consideration of the whole, of humanity. How is your individual actions, that impulse to express as uniquely as you are, how can that help the whole? How can that work in the group? Stepping left foot forward, right foot 45 degrees, inhaling up. Warrior one. You can be the king of your kingdom, the queen of your land. Stepping back, but always in with the greater perspective of humanity. Bringing that rational approach to thinking and thoughts. And dropping yourself down onto your knees. Taking your block or your cushion once again. Taking your circles as you close your eyes. Maybe it's either Gemini or Sagittarius that you need this year. In Gemini, adaptability, curiosity, new learnings. Even teaching. And sitting up in a meditative position, palms turning up to the sky. That vision and that one-pointed goal-setting approach from Sagittarius. And as you breathe into your mind's eye, seeing if you can see what this year looks like. Don't let your mind worry about what's possible or not. What's the impulse? What's the desire? What needs to be learned? Where do you want to make your home? How do you want to express? What do you need to heal? What relationships need to be brought into greater balance? What aspects of your unconscious need to be alchemized? What needs to be seen for your future? What mountaintop are you climbing? How can you help society? How can you be of service to the whole of humanity? From your whole being, from your spiritual through your physical. Who are you in this moment? What is it that needs balancing? Where in your being does true marriage need to happen? And gently lying yourself down onto your back. Make yourself comfortable, grab any blankets. You can have a cushion for your head. Your soles of your feet can be together, your legs extended. Just make sure your spine is nice and straight. Option to rest one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, or both arms out to the sides. And just letting your physical body be held. Feeling all the points at which the physical body touches the ground. Giving the weight to the earth beneath. Take a big inhale and exhale. Let your breath breathe into your form and bring light into the darkest pores of the atomic level. With every exhale, letting the whole body surrender. And then with your breath, feeling your watery aspect of yourself, feeling the waters of your blood, your endocrine system, allowing them to soften. watching your emotions and letting them flow. And to your thoughts, observing. And as you breathe, allowing yourself to expand. So as you expand, the thoughts get further apart from each other, just like a balloon. And then to that place of mind, allowing that impulse, the fiery impulse, to be received. Whether it's immediately or whether it's to be interpreted later by signs, by dreams. With your eye gaze inwards and upwards. As you lift up through the crown of your head, upwards and outwards. And as your breath descends downwards and inwards. Bringing your own masculine and feminine in communication to one another. Allowing some healing. Whether your Aries has got fiery and warlike, or your Gemini is overthinking, leaning into manipulation or pride. Letting with the exhale any of these wounds, letting them become conscious. Any sentimentality and Cancer stuck in the past. Self-centeredness of Leo. Perfectionism of Virgo. Inertia or indecision of Libra. The armor of Scorpio. Obsession of Sagittarius. Rigidness of Capricorn. Skepticism of Aquarius. The self-sabotage of Pisces. And on the next few rounds of breath, draw in whatever you're trying to draw into your realm, whether it's more fire, more water, more earth, more air. And whether that's in yourself or through other people that you need to work with or relate to. Maybe you can paint your picture a little bit more clearly. What are you creating this year? What are you establishing and maintaining this year? And what are you evolving this year? Staying with your visualization, seeing if you can build that picture. You let go of your wound, you're willing to accept the opposite polarity. You know what you're initiating, you know what you're maintaining, you know what you need to evolve. And you know if maybe one area is more important this year than another. Leaving yourself open to receiving. Watch your body as you breathe down into your belly and expand out into your ribs and up to the top of your breastbone. And exhale, letting it fall, letting everything in. And through this deep breathing, connect your physical to your emotional, connecting your thoughts to that impulse of mind, and bringing them all together to work in perfect harmony in the process of creation itself. And here is the deeper symbolism of the man and the woman, marriage and a child. Anything we create in this world is our children. And the organisms, the organizations, the entities that we create that go and have lives of their own, as well as the children that we procreate physically. We create union within ourselves and to others, and we are creative human beings, bringing consciousness onto this planet. On your next breath, feel where your body touches the ground and express a little bit of gratitude towards your whole body. All that you feel physically, all that you sense emotionally, all that you know and you think. Taking another big inhale, stretching through your legs and your arms, wiggling your fingers and your feet. This is the beginning of a new cycle, a new chapter. You have the power within you to go and create the world for you, for your friends, for your intimate relations, for your family, for your society, and for this world. Having a stretch and rolling to one side, giving yourself a big touch, a big hug, thanking yourself. And when you're ready, coming to a seated position. So don't allow yourself to fully come out. We're going to seal our practice with one single Om, taking an inhale and exhale. An inhale for Om. So thank you for spending this time with me. I hope that spring is springing for you already, and those ideas and urges are coming forth to your mind. If you already have them from the past, do leave space at least for the next week for a little bit more extra magic through the creases of whatever visions you are manifesting right now. In terms of the masculine and feminine, the feminine is most definitely rising, and I hope that we can all as individuals support each other to honor our bodies physically, to honor our emotions, and to develop further the well-being and ancient and modern wisdom of health and healing and well-being, psychological interplay with the physical body and spiritual being, and that the two can ultimately come together in our humanity to bring consciousness, the child of consciousness, into all individuals on the planet that we live right now. And for me, that's the greatest symbolism of the masculine and female, masculine and feminine, coming together in divine union and bringing consciousness onto this planet. So I wish you well. Each of us has our own unique gifts, our own unique part of this rebalancing. And as we move from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, we all have to be the individual that we are. Aquarius is very group. It's very technology and rational. We need to keep sight of the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. We need to keep sight of our creativity, our innate creativity, our uniqueness, and celebrate our gifts, celebrate what makes us who we are as individuals. Whatever balance of elements we have, whatever challenges that we have to overcome, and find those people that we need to work with to help us bring about balance, to help us bring about harmony, to work with people who complement what we already have, and create conscious babies in this world, physical or metaphorical. So much gratitude and blessings for joining me this evening or over this equinox weekend. This workshop will be available for the next 3 days. And I wish you well. There will be more soon from me, a new website,
stuff, but I'm also having to be a little bit patient before the real new beginning is created. Namaste.